Welcome, welcome, welcome. It's a Temerian Tuesday. I know yesterday's video was short and some of you might have wanted more content, but how much Skellige Warriors do you really need to see? I mean, I promise a new deck every week and that's what we're going to give you. But if you want to see something ultra spicy, join us on Twitch. That's where we're recording this right now, and this is my favorite deck of the season. It has taken some kneading, some molding, some working, but I think we're there. This deck is I don't think I've lost with it since I've made a couple of changes recently, but it's just really really good at a lot of different things. So we're rocking Amphibious Assault for consistency, Viraxis honestly mostly just for pressure and threat, and for soldier boost in round 3, and we'll rock you through how that works. The resets onto Selkirk and on Sace are great, but they honestly don't happen that much. They usually get removed, heat waved, stolen by someone using Philippa Eilhart on Syndicate. I mean, I've had all kinds of stuff that happens to them. So honestly, like when I play them, I'm like, yeah, I hope it works. But it is one of the greatest failings in Shield Wall is that you have like a couple of really strong removal plays, but not a lot of tempo. And as I was thinking about that and pondering on some of these cards, I actually made Roach Merciless into like my new favorite card, then realized given everything going on in the world today, probably not the best since it doesn't represent Roach's best side. But it is like he is ignoring the story behind him. It is the best card in my opinion. It's just like it's so well balanced. You have to play it in the right order. It synergizes really well with Vess and with Siege support, which doesn't really make that much sense, but really well with Vess. And you do have to get it lined up just right and the round has to be the right amount of length. But when you get it to work, it's just beautiful. It's just glorious what you can do with him. You get thinning, you get tempo, you get removal, and yet it's just he's not an OP card. It's just balance. It's like Roach to me is what the rest of the game should start looking like, most notably for Nilfgaard. Like, Nilfgaard needs a Roach Merciless. It's like a card you don't have to include to get wins, but you can include it and you can build a deck around it and it works really well. We're also using Dun Banner for a couple of reasons. One, good tempo. 7-point play after you get one boosted. Right, so the other one will be boosted at least at a minimum to 4. I guess they could get damaged then boosted back up. But as soon as they get a boost, summons the other one out. Really cool, really helpful. But because they retrieve all other copies from deck when they receive a boost, they can be copied like Blue Stripe Commandos can. So you actually get some flexibility here where you can say, okay, I'm going to bring Commandos. I'm going to use Commandos with Roach. Oh no, I didn't draw Roach round 1. And I had previously been working on an iteration of this deck with Oneiromancy to fix that, and it just wasn't playing as well. It kind of floundered, and so I kind of gave up on that. And so this worked out much better for me, where we could either use Dun Banner or Blue Stripe Commandos, and they both work really well. Honest Stringer and Drummers are just nuts. Radovid's Royal Guards just here as like a blue coin play, and then Trident Infantry are an amazing a synergy engine with Drummers and Ana. So, and then last but not least, we've got Reinforcements as a really good warfare play. So if you play them onto Blue Stripe Scouts and call out another Commando, 8 points, bing bada boom. And it's also a third card for Nautilus. I do have Nautilus for consistency with Assault, and you do need Assault. Assault is important. Oh, hey, thank you so much on Twitch stream. Crispy Dolphin is now the bits leader for donations. So thank you so much for dropping in, and thanks for the 1-bit cheers 50 times, man. We're having all kinds of fun today. All right, let's jump into a game. Let's walk people through this. I know people on Twitch have seen this deck. This is like whenever I'm at the end of the night and people aren't giving me suggestions, this is the deck I've been working on. I've been tweaking, as you can see. And it's been going really, really, really well. And we're just, again, like against Overwhelming Hunger, against Non-Devotion Scoia'tael, against mirror matchups and Shield Wall. Like your ability to tempo up, to tempo down, to remove, to play across all 3 rounds in a way that kind of just works for you is really nice.
There is but one punishment for traitors.
As always, the weakness is Nilfgaard, and Nilfgaard can cause us some problems, especially if they're running a bunch of locks. But it's not the end of the world. Just because of that, we do want to run siege support, and we do want to run Vest at the same time. I like Anna here with the infantry. Boiling oil, I don't know how useful that's going to be for me, so we're going to go ahead and put that back. And Radovid's Royal Guards really aren't going to be all that great, but I don't want to change anything out because I don't want to break into one of the commandos. So, again, not the best, but that works. So the play typically that we want to get out here is we don't run any Purifies, so because nobody is running Nilfgaard locks on Pro that likes to win games. But that's because Overwhelming Hunger does not care, and Overwhelming Hunger will ruin you. Don't do it. It's not a good play. So I think we will actually lead with Royal Guards to see if we can draw this lock. This is a weird tempo play. Everybody gets to make choices. All right, we're gonna go for Royal Guards here. And just mostly probably to give some girth to siege support next. We'll go for Vest third. And again, I'm not really in a rush here to get out tempo against Nilfgaard. That's perfect. That's exactly what I wanted to see. I think this is a good play with Hunting Pack because you kind of get what you want a little bit. Alright, we are going to go for siege support here. And if he sticks, that's awesome. We don't have the kill set up. So the reason why Vest sets up nicely, there's so many 4-point cards in the game. And you do the 2 damage with Vest. She has the Zeal, and she comes out at 5 points. So she's pretty hard to remove, and usually not worth the spend. Like, ceaseless, countless locks could cause us some problems here. I think I'm actually going to go for On a Stringer, weirdly enough. We're going to go ahead and use her shield. So there are 3 shields. The shields, in terms of priority for me, are typically On a Stringer, On Sace, then Seltkirk. Usually you can get a Zeal set up for Seltkirk when you're not running into a Nilfgaard lock deck. Honestly, like, I love this deck and I always want it to win, but I would be fine if I lost against like a control Nilfgaard deck, because that's where the balance of the game should be. I know some people are going to disagree with me. I know some people like really love Northern Realms, and other people that many reallys towards Nilfgaard. To be candid, the game is just not working all that well when there's not that balance we've been referring to, right? So here the opponents drop down 3 locks. I mean, they could have more. There could be Van Morlehem Hunters. There could be Ox. At some point, somewhere, one of our cards is probably not going to get locked. All right, so this sets up perfectly for us. So we get Vest. Now we get Roach. So he comes down. We get the 2-point removal. We prop him. We drop this down. He gets out his homeboys, and we are now up by 1 point. Just crazy tempo. I mean, right there, he plays for 18 points with a 2-point removal. So long as you get that Deathblow. Now the opponent starting to worry a little bit, as they should, because I like this to go one more play. I'm happy with it going one more play, and the reason for that is because I get to use these Blue Stripe Scouts. Here I only have 1. They play really well with Amphibious Assault, but you do want to save 1 Amphibious Assault for round 3, because there's a greater than 0% chance you miss Pavetta, or you need to use Amphibious Assault on Pavetta round 2. So you just need to make sure you have your Scouts out. They go into your graveyard, and it could be with Dunbanners, same thing. That's fine. It's really not a big deal. We're going to go back up in terms of points to exactly where we were. And now the opponent is down. He's used Albrick. Offen's out. He does have Morvran when he needs it, but he is down by a point here. Probably doesn't want to lose on evens. But we'll probably pass after this. I think, unless Tridems are going to magically get us over whatever the opponent plays. Like if they're just making 4-point trades, like with tourney jousts, then they'll play Tridums. They play better with drummers, but against a Nilfgaard deck with control, that's what we're gonna do. Yeah, and not only is Roach great tempo, oh, so bad. I mean, maybe he loves what he has or she has. I hate how that you can't see names in pro rank. By the way, that's part of the reason I don't like going to pro till later, so I can like reach out to people and be like, hey, want to be my friend? I could use more friends in my life. Okay, we'll pass him up and we'll get rid of him. I don't want to break into this other done banner, but how things currently stand is fine for me. So now Pavetta works as like a phenomenal play here. We do get Amphibious Assault, so it kind of is like, oh, well, is there something here I want? I can get Selkirk with it. I love playing siege supports with it. I've gotten many surrenders just from that play. I do also have the option here of not playing anything, and the opponent would go down a card. I would get Last Say, and I could play Pavetta and Amphibious Assault onto a Blue Stripe Commando. No questions asked. And that works really well, actually. But here we are going to put them back in, just because we have Drummer and we have Dun Banner, and I'd like to get Drummer and Dun Banner out if possible. I'd also like Nautilus to come down here with Boiling Oil, just to get him out. It's, you know, it's a 7-point play, and all on its own. Crossbowman here would be a little annoying, but it's not that big a deal. You know, they just really aren't that great. So we do want Drummer here, and we do want Dun Banner if possible, and I'm happy to go and grab another Drummer with this Amphibious Assault to get this to work. Looks like it's gonna work just fine. There's no way he can kill this. So not a big deal. I don't mind. Of course, I'd like to have double cards, like double Last Say, but getting some consistency is really not such a bad option for me either. Wouldn't have been a terrible option here to go ahead and use Nautilus just to prevent this Vergriff play, if nothing else. So now I'm just thinking, like, what's my best play? Amphibious Assault still looking pretty nice here. I would have liked to have grabbed a Tridum if possible. So I'll go ahead and use Nautilus. Here I'm just going to try to drain my opponent of all of their cards. You know, we don't really care. Just a real short round works really nicely for us because we get such great tempo. Blue Stripe Scouts are probably nice. One thing you can do, I can use a Blue Stripe Scout onto a Dun Banner and then use a Leader Charge to give them a boost. I don't think the opponent wanted to play Vergriff with Crossbowman. I think he's probably going for Darelins. But who knows? So here we are going to grab Drummer, just because we can drop down this Drummer next to this Dun Banner. He gets that perpetual boost, and then it allows us to throw down a 7-point Blue Stripe Scout. And he's 7 because he plays for 4 himself, copies a Dun Banner, and then the boost comes at the end of my own turn. So it is going to get boosted and draw another Dun Banner in the same round. Works really quite well. And we are saving a Baron here. I don't know how much value Baron's going to get against this Soldier's deck. He could find 6 points of value here. So we'll keep that option open. We also could save this Blue Stripe Scout for Commandos, actually. So let's do this and see what we get. Now I don't want Baron going next to Drummer here. But now we're up by 6 points with a ticking engine. The opponent obviously has no engines other than this Ardfane Crossbowman doing damage whenever the opponent plays a unit. Now if it was me playing, as you guys have seen me in my recorded videos, it would almost certainly hit the 1 armor when I just need the 1 single point to get back up again. Now we could have used a Leader Charge here onto Baron. That would have given him a shield. You know, he is a girthy unit, so that would be worthwhile. Here we get out Vilgefortz. We'll have to see what the opponent draws out from our deck. This is fantastic. I am good. Thank you very much. That is, and this is a technical term, a stupid move that the opponent just made. Good luck. And that's why you don't play Vilgefortz after Pavetta's played with 4 of the same unit still in deck. I don't know. We could see something nuts happen here with Voorhees, but I think we're probably okay. Now we still retain 2 leader charges. The opponent here gonna make some crazy choices, hoping probably for a Tibor. It seems like if they're going for a Yen, drawing instead across them, and so it was a nice attempt by them. Nilfgaard's still really struggling, just really struggling. But as you saw, holy cow, did that work out well for us? What a horrible Vilgefortz play, especially onto that drummer. It did prevent a little bit of value, but man, that came together really nicely for us. All right, so remember to work on your seasonal trees as well. So I've been working on these Season of the Cat trees. We'll just take a quick break here, but you do want to get up. You do want to get up as far as you can on the seasonal ones because they expire in just a few days. The stories and background for the lore are always kind of fun to read, but the rewards are always quite valuable. You can use those anytime you want. Thank you again to Crispy Dolphin for the great cheer on stream. It's great having you around, and I've loved your comments on some of the YouTube videos lately. So let's go get into another game. Having fun here. Like I said, this deck is just awesome. But let's see if we can queue into something a little bit more meta, especially with our win streak we have going with Northern Realms. Patricidal Fury is a little bit obnoxious, but with this deck, it's really not terribly oppressive. I find myself getting super annoyed about some things, but if you're really worried about losing like one of your commandos, you get Roach out, but you can't get a siege support or a Vesta stick. That's a good way to go, to be honest. Now my preference here actually is to grab Amphibious Assault with Nautilus. I don't want to break into a Dunbanner, and I don't want to break into another commando. So my mulligans are somewhat limited in this deck. But again, with Nautilus in here, with Roach getting out those commandos, with a few different options on Zeal, I'm pretty happy with those. And you may have noticed last game we didn't get on Sace, we didn't get Selkirk, we didn't get Viraxis, and we kicked some butt. I mean, add that together, make yourself a nice smoothie. But I mean, without Oniro, you do miss out on some of like the perfect consistency that some people like to have. If the opponent opts to pass this up, I think it's a really poor choice. I will retain my voice. That is a terrible choice. Easy to boost up a Longship. You don't lose anything by boosting that up there, especially against Northern Realms. Like, maybe I play on Sace, but I'm forced to have to play a shield because of the damage I take, right? So, I don't know, everybody makes choices. Okay, so we do need to get some stuff going. Vest here is not enough to get that removal started. And we do need to have a unit out to receive the boost first. It's kind of funny, but I actually just like to play Tridums on a dead play. If he gets removed, that's some loss of synergy, but it's really not the worst thing in the world. I also know that he's going to be a boost target, so if the opponent tries to apply bleed or damage him to get Bloodthirst, which is typically a trigger Patricidal Fury is looking for, as we see with this German Berserker, that's fine with me because I can go ahead and just damage him down. I don't hate that. I don't hate that boost. That works actually really quite well. Now here we're gonna go ahead and go for Drummer. Then we can do Anna next.
Left, right.
But in so doing, we did get the luck of the draw here, so the Tursic Invader is damaged. Now what we can do is we can use Nautilus to go ahead and pull out Vess. She's gonna come down buffed to 7 and do 2 damage. So it actually works out really well for us. But first we're going to drop down Anna, just because she is a perpetual engine. We just do some nasty stuff with that. And here as well, what we can do if you want, when you're playing, you can just say, hey, look, I'm going to try for shield support. If he gets removed, so be it. All I'm going to do is play Dun Banner, my Tridums, get Nautilus out for another Tridum. I'm just going to let that be game. And, you know, that works well. That's a fine play to do. And then you can just use Roach the next round. And, you know, it just kind of comes down to how you like to play the game. And if we even really want to grab Amphibious Assault, I do feel comfortable this game with it because we have Pavetta. But getting another Tridum here is actually not a terrible idea just because of these totems and fanatics. But I do have the Invader set up. The opponent is on blue coin, so I have some more flexibility in terms of value. And here the Nautilus play is going to put me over the opponent. I'm going to go for Amphibious Assault. I'm going to go ahead and grab Vess here. And we're going to put her to the left of Drummer, just in case Drummer gets removed. We have another card there ready to go. And the tactical advantage has already been used, so I don't have to worry about this Invader taking some value. The opponent does have to be careful here, because if this random damage proc hits the Fanatic, then they get into the skewered position. This is another reason I don't like totems, by the way, because the opponent can trigger one with random damage or otherwise and force an imperfect play to only 10 points of value, because the 6-point Bear Abomination is going to have to take damage to get the other transform. You could add in another unit that is Berserk, but in Patricidal Fury or that Warrior deck we had yesterday, I'm just not including it because it just doesn't find the value we need. This is really poor play. The opponent needs the tempo here. They need to do something. So honestly, so he does 1 damage, and we get 3 boost, and we do 1 damage, right? So he goes down to 27, and then we would go down to 27. So there's better than 0 chance we hit that Berserker. So we're just gonna keep up the heat here. I like this play. I just want to get these guys out for thinning purposes as well. So that's another reason I like this deck. And the 15-point lead works pretty well for me. I think the opponent's pretty skewered here. They have to either make like a really, really good tempo play that they probably don't have, or that they're not willing to make. And so for that reason, we can get some just like really, really great synergy here. And if the opponent continues to play, I'm actually really, really quite happy to get out Dun Banner. And we're gonna go ahead and get the Dun Banner next to Anna Stringer. That's gonna work really well for us. But that would work really well for us. I don't need to do it, so I'm not going to do it. The opponent here needed to go down by 2 cards in order to stay in this game. And we're still continuing to go up by 2 points per turn. So, really poor plays. It would have been better to just have lost on evens there. Don't know why the opponent thought we were still committed to the round. Obviously, it would have been nice to get the Dun Banner out. But it works as a good tempo play next round. The only difficult thing with them, I also do like to be a little bit cheeky with them sometimes and go ahead and throw them down. You may hear my son waking up in the background. Good, Chrissy Dolphin. And for those of you on Twitch, anytime you request a deck, I'll always share it. So as soon as we're done with this video, I'll go ahead and share it with you guys. But it's just crazy. And like, we haven't even played Viraxis on Selkirk yet, right? I mean, we still have those 3 ready to go, like ready to rock. Yeah, so the opponent just takes the loss that round. I think we're gonna push. I think we're gonna push pretty hard, to be honest. So I actually really like. So what I'll do is I'll play Dun Banner, and then I'll play Siege Support, and then all at once, and that works really well for me. And another thing, so if I'm missing Selkirk and Onsace and Baron, so right here I'm missing Onsace and Baron, so I'm in an okay position. But what I will do is I'll just go ahead and save Pavetta till round 3. She plays for 6 points, so she's worth keeping around. But now here, if the opponent just goes ahead and for the removal, we might just pass actually. But if they don't go for the removal, we'll go for Siege Support. Sets up nicely for a Selkirk. This is actually just about as good as it can get for us. I don't mind this on Crate Longship one bit. We do take the damage, but that's fine. 6-point plays are actually kind of difficult for them to come. Oh, sorry. They do need to make a 6-point play had I not been taking bleeding damage. But we can actually get out Selkirk here. If you'll remember, there already was one Longship. So if that's what we want, we can go ahead and do that. It is something I'm going to do. He will go to 6. He'll immediately remove, and then we do have Varaxis this round as well. Again, I am very, very happy with this deck in a short round. As you guys saw last round, there's just so much I can do with my commandos that I just don't care. Now you can also get out of Siege Support for Onsace, you can get out of Siege Support for Varaxis, you can get out of Siege Support for a bunch of different things. Here the opponent needing to trade Patricide for Champion's Charge to get rid of this Selkirk, because Selkirk just is so much of a threat to him. And here we could make some plays, but I'm actually pretty happy with this. We still have card advantage. We're really in no different a position than we were when we started. Granted, the opponent would have had to go down 2 cards, but I'm extremely happy with the fact that they are now out a leader ability. We don't have to worry about coming up from behind in that. Had we had Onsace, I would have actually gone ahead and played Onsace and removed Arnulf, but we didn't. And that is what it is. Drummer's really not all that helpful. Blue Stripe Scouts are actually more useful to me. And here we're going to go ahead and do some crazy stuff. So a few things. I'm going to go ahead and put this back. Hopefully we get Onsace, and we do. So you can actually, most people don't realize this, but Varaxis resets an allied Northern Realms order ability and gives it Zeal. So we can actually play him down and get soldier boosts from all these cards, and except Onsace. Onsace has no soldier boost. And we can actually just give Zeal to our good friend and neighbor, the Blue Stripe Commando. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and remove Harald here, and then I'm going to remove Raiders next round with Varaxis. So I like this play for a couple of reasons. So the opponent can go ahead here and use Raiders and ping this off and kill him with something else. And that's not the end of the world for us, because like I just said, Varaxis here is going to do a few things. Number one, he's going to boost up all 4 of these soldier plays. And the more my opponent has to spend to get this removal, the better off I am. And we can go ahead here and play Siege Support and get ready for those commandos to come out. And the opponent has spent most of their removal worried about Onsace and Selkirk. So what typically was the weakness of this deck is now kind of the false banner, if you will. Like, I mean, just like, look at this. This Donor on Hindar is coming down. Look, I'm happy with it. I'm happy. Like, this is fine. We're gonna get him boosted up. We're just gonna continue toying with their mind. And now they have to choose between these 2 cards. Granted, we do miss out on a boost here. But I do think if they were just getting him down with Donar, they have something that could remove Viraxis. And I'd like to preserve that ability if possible. And I also really, I know I'm treating it as like a false flag, but Onsace is still worth crazy points. I would still like to reset his ability with Viraxis if I can. There's no reason I don't, like, there's no reason to not want to do that. I don't need to, but I would, I mean, I would still like to do it. So, this damage could go anywhere, who knows. Also sets up some bloodthirst for the opponent. So I'm actually going to go Viraxis. I'm going to reset this on Sace. And that's fine for me. We're going to get double last say here. So this is honestly a little bit different than what I'd expect in most games. But we get this reset. The opponent sees what they like. Now I think they're going to start developing whatever they want. Now we can play Pavetta. Then we can play Amphibious Assault. And then we can just play a crazy number of cards. It's gonna be insane. I mean, we're gonna play so many points by the end of this round. It's nuts. It's just straight up nuts. I also did have an earlier iteration. If you want to, if you're concerned about tempo, you can sub out Bloody Baron for a Dahlia, and you can use a Dahlia to trigger Blue Stripe Scout. That's crazy fun. So he's going to do 4 damage here. It gets him his 3 Bloodthirst, which he probably wants for a certain card. Maybe Svanrig or something like that. And that's fine. Prepare to get wrecked. He's got to deal with this siege support if he doesn't want to get totally obliterated all at once. But I don't think it's really going to make that much of a difference. We're going to call them out at 8 points. For those of you who aren't familiar as much, they are 5 provisions. They're going to get boosted by 4 points. The delta between 9 minus 5 is 4. So that's the boost they're going to receive from Amphibious Assault. So nice girthy boys, if you will. I would proc this to ranged and just pray the Hemdall. Obviously, they did not pray hard enough. They just now get skewered super hard. And it ends up being like a really poor play. And when I'm feeling really cheeky like I am today, I can just go back. But they get boosted, as you just saw from for the Viraxis. Viraxis still out here giving boosts to my units. And he does play down for more points than Harl does. You can put him to range for 7 or melee for 5. This plays for decent value. The opponent's still on a bit of a pipe dream that they can hang in here. So he gets boosted, so it's now a 9-point play. And we can just repeat it with reinforcements. Again, another 9-point play. Crazy points! And there just wasn't much the opponent could do about it. And if I was really concerned that game, I could have just waited to play my Blue Stripe Commandos later and just bricked into the Blue Stripe Scouts. So, look, I would keep playing this deck all day. I think 2 games, the 2 you just saw, are a pretty good example of what this deck can do and how much it can just wreck nerds. But I love it, so we're going to go ahead and do a 3rd video. Just get into a 3rd game here. It's nuts. Honestly, I might have to change my title of last week's Monsters video from the best to maybe the best. Like, this deck is just seriously so good. That said, I don't know how good it would be if everybody played it. The biggest weaknesses of this deck: row punish, perpetual, non-stop, just like moralless removal. Alright, so a couple of things here. The chances are greater than 0 that you miss some stuff, right? Viraxis is great, but he's really not helpful round 1. So I'm going to actually go ahead and get rid of him. I'm going to put Boiling Oil back, that way we have something for Nautilus. I really don't want to brick here, but we're going to put that back. Okay, I'm actually really happy with that. So we are on blue coin, and I do have Engineering Solution because it's wicked awesome with Honest Stringer. It just really is. There's really not any way to kind of get around that. insofar as blue coin plays, though, we did put Radovid's Royal Guards back, which are kind of the best blue coin play. You know, a low value unit that has some value going forward. That being the case, we're gonna go ahead and play Dun Banner here. And I have a couple reasons for that. Number one, I'd like to get Anna out and working as quickly as possible. We can get her down, use Engineering Solution. A play like this also sometimes indicates to the opponent, look, I bricked, and I just need to buy myself some time. So go ahead, remove it if you want to. But I would really like to leave that there. So this works great for us. This is quite perfect. She takes some damage, not a big deal. She's just gonna keep the love going. And then we can go ahead and remove this longship with Onsace, using a leader charge if we'd like to. So typically, like I said, I have 3 shields reserved, 1 for Anna, 1 for each of the knights. But don't need them. I don't need the 1 for Anna, so here we do have a few more options than we normally do. I'm going to force this removal onto Onsace. I don't have a way of replaying it anyway. So this is a little bit easier to do. I think they'll probably play this on Crate Raiders onto him. That'll work fine. And then, like I said before, we can play Blue Stripe Scouts to get tempo if we need it. Opponent does go for a good choice here with Anna. We're going to go ahead and play Drummer next to her, just to give her some girth. 6 points is really hard for Skellige to remove unless they're running Giga, and they're usually not in Patricidal Fury. So they can go ahead and use this light longship with Stunning Blow. Looks like that's probably what they're going to do. Not the worst choice in the world. Yeah, I really don't hate it. I think it's probably a smart play. But here we get Tridums. The opponent probably wants to get out of this at some point. Yep. But we're happy with that. We got a little bit of thinning. I'd like to see Roach Merciless if at all possible, but we didn't even play Amphibious Assault. We didn't even play Nautilus. We did have to trade Onsace here, which was probably a bit of an overplay, typically speaking. But it's one I'm fine with. Alright, Radovid Royal Guards causing me some problems again, where I'm deciding whether or not I want to go for them or put them back. I'm gonna go ahead and put. I'm gonna keep Blue Stripe Scout. Seeing that we missed the card we wanted here, you know what we can do actually. We're gonna go ahead and use Amphibious Assault to get out the commandos. Then we can copy him with Blue Stripe Scout and copy the Blue Stripe Scout with reinforcements. Yeah. And if the opponent wants to trade to kill him, that's fine too. But 8 points of murder is a heavy price to pay. But here this lines up actually really well with Blue Stripe Scout. We can go ahead and play it next round, and then he'll call out both the copies instead of just the one other copy. And we do have Boiling Oil on short leash. That way we can use it onto what is inevitably being played next, which is what we're going to actually do first. Light Longship action, never mind. I thought it was going to be a non-crate Longship. Light Longship, I'm fine. Obviously, they can pick where that damage goes as opposed to on crate Longship, but it happens on their turn instead of my turn, right? So I'm fine with it.
Bloody non-humans.
So here we get the tempo we want. We don't have Pavetta, so I don't have any guarantee that I'm going to get him back again. So I'm actually looking to get out of this round pretty soon. But again, if I can get more of them, like with reinforcements, that just means if I do get Pavetta, that I'm going to get that much more back into my play for the next round. I also know that Patricidal Fury likes to play the game on their terms. Herrick is not a terrible choice here. We're gonna go ahead and remove her just because she has such great value over time. We still do have two. Oh, although that does cause us some problems. It's not the end of the world if they die though. So this is just a little bit better, and it's just the other reason I'm doing it is it's just thinning, right? So I got out of boiling oil, as otherwise just kind of clogging my deck. The other thing I can do here too, I could actually just make one copy of them, and then I have it so I can grab it first, then play Pavetta. So, you know, all those things are options. This is not a good trade in terms of points and value, right? I'm actually, like I said, it would have been really nice to do that. I can also do it next round. I can also do reinforcements onto siege support, or I can do it onto somebody like a drummer. So, you know, it's I like the flexibility of the card. Frankly, one of the other reasons it's in here is because I hate decks with only 2 warfare cards with Nautilus. He just bricks for me, like like 1 out of every 3 games that way. And with 3 warfare cards, he at least always finds value. And especially in a deck like this, where you've seen like sometimes I'm okay breaking into some of the cards, but most of the time I'm really anxious about it, and I really don't want it to happen. And so I don't always go for all my mulligans. I mean, I have so much value in the cards that I do have that I kind of space it out just a little bit more. Champion's Charge is still possible, as is the leader charge here from the opponent. This is a terrible trade. Way too much play from the opponent. Heavy investment here on the Hemdall, so I'm happy for that trade. But this also is kind of a bit of a mid-range deck with Pavetta and Vess and Stringer. Here, looking for Merciless. Still looking for Merciless. I'm actually going to grab him using this. Actually, I tried him infantry. I have like no purpose for him. Well, now I do. So we do all together with Merciless and Baron, despite having our deck thinned down quite a bit. So, unfortunate.
Should I pound it into a poker?
So I really like Vess here because she's like pressure. She sets up a Zeal for Selkirk. She is a soldier, so Varaxis would have made sense before. But now we can play Pavetta, get back all of our blue stripe commandos, and we do still have some good tempo in that regard. Skjordal is a good value here. Good trade. I think that's certainly one I would make. I'd like 2 shields for Selkirk if possible. But we're just gonna have to see if we can actually get like siege support to stick.
Up and at 'em, you lazy bastards! You'll sleep when you're dead. Burn the homes, fell the trees, anything shiny, plunder!
Drummer's actually quite nice here.
Right.
And it might be worth thinking about putting a shield on the drummer here. I'm opting not to. It does resolve some of that bloodthirst issue. And obviously Blood Eagle come down is a little bit annoying, but not the end of the world. I do like the Encrate Blacksmith. I think this is a smart inclusion for Patricidal Fury deck. But we might take our first loss in a really long time. We just kind of missed all of our draws despite having some good thinning. And our opponent did not miss any of theirs. Which is fine. Crap happens. So I do want to play the Selkirk soon because Selkirk is worth a bit of value, but not as much as my commandos are. And that Champion's Charge still looms very large. Champion's Charge is always kind of hilarious with Harald already out though, because you have that greater than 0% chance of accidentally killing the harpies.
Steal the lasses.
But here the opponent's just getting the damage that they want. Happy here. The opponent's probably going to trade in leader, and I'm happy to see leader early. This is weird.
Gods, not a moment's peace.
Yeah, again, I don't mind spending shield wall here, so we are going to do that.
Yes, my love. Rome, crown, all Karak is ours.
Skjordal is probably the most value. Oh, technically, Berserker is 3, 1 damage. So he's actually 7-point card as well. So we're just going to go ahead and take care of him. And here I'm going to copy siege support. Well, Champion's Charge does cause me problems kind of on both ends of this, huh? Well, you only live once. Oh, no. Alright, Champion's Charge is going to kill whatever I play. I might as well take the risk.
What do you want?
Leader is just so valuable here. We probably should have played out the last round a little bit better. He might remove the Selkirk. But a wise play would be to remove this. Yeah. Yeah, we really needed to bleed that out. I was really hoping for Roach, because Roach gives us some flexibility, right? Like, we can get it out with Roach or with Amphibious. That being the case, this is just like kind of an 8-point brick. Royal Guards are actually probably the most value. So good plays by the opponent. This on-crate blacksmith really saved their biscuits. All right, we took a loss. No deck is perfect, and I'm happy, honestly, to show you guys a little bit of how it would lose. We should have pressed a little bit harder in round 2, I think. Make sure to keep making this progress. You can get some cool rewards and get some great keys as well, which are going to be really important for the new expansion coming right around the corner. But until next time, thank you guys so much for watching. Get out there. Keep on Gwenting.